This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. I tried to be somewhat honest with you about some of this gear stuff. So when PRS got in touch with me, basically they had a personnel change recently, and I had a call, and this guy basically asked, like, are there any guitars you'd be interested in? And this was one of the guitars. So this is just a loaner, by the way. I'm not being sent this guitar, nor am I being paid to make this video, but it is special treatment in that I get to loan a very expensive guitar. Well, I think a relatively expensive guitar. But this one wasn't on my radar. This was kind of a suggestion from them. Why wasn't it on my radar? I think you might see in a second. I wouldn't say it's the most controversial PRS guitar. I think that has to be the Silver Sky, right? But I did see some sentiments about this, because this is essentially PRS's answer to a T-type guitar. So this is a Myles Kennedy signature, different style pickups. I'm going to plug it in, see what it sounds like. As I say, this is a loaner, but I'm not being paid to make the video, so I'll give you an honest opinion on it. It feels substantial. I would say it's not the lightest Tele style guitar that I've ever felt. A nice chunky neck, actually quite similar to the Silver Sky neck, which I really like. But if you're looking for a skinny neck, this is definitely not one of those. And yeah, what does it say here? Myles Kennedy, strings on there, 10s, assembled by JAG, final check by TCB. The date, the 12th of January, no, the 1st of December 2023, because you Americans do it backwards, don't you? And it's a nitro finish. Interesting. TrueFire sponsor this channel. At the moment, they're running this $10 downloads deal, and I just wanted to shout out some things on here which I think represent really good value for $10. TrueFire sponsor this channel, as I said. We've got Jeff McElwain stuff. So Jeff has got a load of great stuff on here. If you're not familiar with Jeff, you probably are. But amazing player, and check out his channel. Also check out his playing on Keith's 5 Watt World channel, and also has been teaching for decades. Sorry to, you know, out your age there, Jeff, but that is what it is. Tim Lurch as well, again, an amazing player on YouTube, who I think for me is one of my favourite kind of jazz instructors, just such a chill guy. To me, has been pretty crucial in kind of thinking I could do some of this stuff. Obviously, I'm nowhere near as good, and never got anywhere near there, but gave me the thought that I could. This one here, Tim Miller's Creative Arpeggio Design, is one of my favourite courses on TrueFire in general, and it goes really into like his own sort of philosophy on creating arpeggios from scale shapes, this 2-1-2 arpeggio design, and I think it's just an incredible sort of approach. Not that theory heavy necessarily, but talking in a way that it's like, this is how I physically have developed something which is comfortable but kind of has a really interesting sound to it. So in some ways, this is very much not entirely dissimilar to a Telecaster, right? There are some things that I really like about it. First of all, we've got these kind of vintage style locking tuners, so those are pretty nice. Another aspect which I'll try to photo for you is that there's this like subtle rounding at the top of the neck where it's kind of like perfectly rounded off for your thumb. So for upper fret axis stuff, that's a really nice feature. Kind of subtle, you might not, you know, be able to see it that well, but it is just like a nice finishing touch there. Quite pale sort of maple. It looks to me like it's quartersawn, you know, where it's got that kind of fleck to it. I don't know for sure if it is. I'll check the specs and see what it says. Swamp Ash body, it weighs like 3.72 kilos, which to me is a little bit heavier than maybe, you know, for instance, the Silver Skies are quite light in the main. Got steel block, brass saddles. One extra bird than your normal PRS. This little owl guy here. I think these are my favourite version of the birds, like the hollow birds. I think actually looks really pretty nice, pretty distinctive. The actual body itself, as you can see, is what it is. Quite simple design. A bit of a belly carve. Here's what I'm talking about, where this really subtle kind of curve here that's kind of perfectly shaped for a thumb. As weird as that sounds to say. In terms of the fretwork, this is really nice, but they are quite small frets for a, I guess, fairly modern guitar, which is maybe partly why it feels a bit older, according to Myles. I guess the highlight feature of these guitars really are these pickups, which are their NF3 pickups. I think they're like Narrowfield MKs. The idea with these is that they're humbucking single coil style pickups, sort of. Anyway, so they say like the boldness of a humbucker with the spank of a single coil. The hum aspect of it really does work. So like this thing is silent even up at the actual PC monitor, which normally would be quite a noisy thing. I was expecting this to be a coil split. It's not. So what this does is apparently rolls off. So if you're looking for really spanky bridge stuff, or if you want it to darken it off a little bit, so it's like a preset tone roll off is what they've called it. My main question is, does it actually sound like a Tele? So the pickups are way hotter than a single coil Tele, is kind of my takeaway from this. Maybe rolling off to 8 or 7. Yeah, so I think there's some definite cool qualities about this. So I think, to me, consider it sort of like a Tele on steroids. I guess I would say these pickups to me are quite a bit hotter than my actual single coil Tele pickups. To me, it's a little bit like maybe like a Tele, but extra type tone to it. To me, that bridge pickup is quite big and thick, and I guess it is kind of what they're saying, where it's like it's kind of got that single coil spank to it, but a bolder kind of feel and very quiet pickups. So that's a real cool thing. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments. I can't say that Myles Kennedy Beyond Alter Bridge is something I've heard a ton of, but I think he's in that kind of rock genre. So I kind of wanted to see what it'd be like, these kind of more country rock type things, because that to me is one of the things that I think of with the Tele. But yeah, I'll do a couple more videos with it. I think I've got this for a bit. To me, the nut seems like maybe that could do with some attention. It seems like it's not staying in tune quite as well as I'd like. For something with locking tuners particularly. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Lovely kind of full neck profile, 10-inch radius, 25.5 inch, 22nd fret we've got here, unlike my actual Tele. Quite a nice forearm contour, so it's comfortable, a little bit heavier than I'd have opted for maybe, and to me, I love the feel of the Silver Sky. This I'm not as much in love with, you know, just to be honest with you, but has some really cool tones. I think for someone looking for this sort of single cut rock machine Tele on steroids thing, this could be a great candidate. It's very well built. As I say, I can't really find flaws on it. The fretwork is good, quite small frets. There's just that sort of holding tune issue with it. I'm thinking right now for a hardtail with locking tuners, I'd prefer it to be holding tune a little bit more. Don't shoot the messenger. Cheers for stopping by.